Lama live from halfway between Santa Monica Pier and Venice Beach here on the boardwalk. Well, not much of a boardwalk, a bit of a concrete walk, but you'll see quite a few people riding up and down, running up and down, walking up and down today. Great spot. I love being back here. So over in the US, a few days spent at Zwift, talking all things Zwift Oz, organising things for the Tour Down Under events they're holding. I'll put a link below if you want to register for their events. I think they're having a drinks night on one of the Friday nights, a few get-togethers, a few pro rides on Zwift. So quite a bit happening there. Also met with Kevin Poulton. Now, if you don't know the name Kevin Poulton, I'm sure you'll know the name Maddie Hayman. Kevin Poulton is Maddie Hayman's coach from the famous winner of Paris-Roubaix last year. Good to spend time with Kevin, actually. Of course, I asked him about the coaching of Maddie, the lead up to Paris-Roubaix, and I got goosebumps with his reply. You'd think it'd be a straightforward reply, pretty generic, but the story that's behind what went into that was fantastic. So there'll be a story coming out from Zwift on that in the near future. I think there's a few things being filmed here in LA or Long Beach, a few things over on the cobbles themselves, but watch for that. That's going to be great. Kevin's got a great story to tell. Now on to Traynor Reviews. Got to ride the Hammer this week at Zwift HQ. I'm not sure if it was a production or final, so I won't do any real official reviews of it, but it rode okay. I did a sprint test on it. I led a group ride for Zwift Academy on the Hammer. It felt pretty good. Good inertia, good sprint, and really nice and stable unit. Probably over-engineered, I think, or the one I saw anyway. So let's wait till I get my hands on the production one, just to be sure, and more on that. I had a couple of trainers sent over home while I was here via FedEx, and they were returned back to the US because I wasn't there to pick them up. The courier didn't put my email or mobile number on those, so I wasn't aware there was something sitting there waiting for me, and they got turned around after a few notifications. So hopefully I can get those sent back to Sydney. I'll get a hold of those and do a few rides on those. And also there's a trainer I've been waiting for a long time, well, ever since Eurobike actually, I think before Eurobike. I've got to have a quick sneak peek of that this week. I won't mention which one it is. Stay tuned, I should have mine this week. So no outdoor riding here, unfortunately, and thanks to everyone who sent through some ideas or invited me along on rides. I'll come back one day with Von and we'll bring our bikes. I think we need about 2 weeks here to make it worth our time. There's some massive hills over the back here you can see when the sun comes out, which is going to be fantastic to ride. And just generally getting around was a bit of a pain at the moment. I've got this camera currently sitting on my bag that I'm dragging along the walk here. So thanks to everyone who offered advice. I got myself a SIM card for this. I was wrong on the Telstra data too. Telstra was $105 for 512 meg, not a gig. So that was just ludicrous pricing. I went to T-Mobile, I got 10 gig for about the same price as one 512 meg upgrade from Telstra. So I've been living off that, that's been fine. And I think the Wi-Fi at the airport will be pretty good as well. So I spent yesterday at Disneyland, California. Is it Disneyland California Adventure World, the other Disneyland? It's a newer one. There's 2 parks. If those who don't know, the Anaheim Park is the original one, and just across the way from that, it's not even a road, it's the same park effectively, but just different gates to charge you twice as much to get in, is the California Adventure World. The guy in the ticket booth said, don't worry about getting the double pass yesterday. I was going to get the double pass and go to both, but he said, don't worry about it, go to California Adventure World. The rides are faster, better, and quicker. So yesterday was Thanksgiving Day here in the US. So the lines were super short, everything was pretty quiet, there was no lineups for food, I could get a seat, and if you've ever been to Disneyland, you know what that's like, trying to find a table to eat something. Yesterday was brilliant. I got a ton of footage from that, but it's not worth putting up on the channel here, I don't think. It's not cycling related. But I had the GoPro out on the roller coaster, and I thought, before I got on the Cars ride, I thought I'd load up Strava Beacon. Now, I've spoken about Strava Beacon before. I loaded up Strava Beacon on the phone and sent out the URL on Twitter and Facebook for people to track along. The GPS in these things is pretty laggy, so I'll link below to both the Strava Beacon and Strava ride of my Cars ride and also the Screamin California Rollercoaster ride. It's pretty jaggy, so I really can't do any data overlays of the GoPro footage I had, but a bit of fun with tech there. I should have brought the Garmin or the Element along. I hung around until it got dark, and yeah, that place completely changes at night. The lights come out. It's I've just got to bring Von back there. I was going to go to Universal Studios, but I thought I'll wait for that. I'll go back to Disneyland and do the other park. But a day well spent, and I was spent at the end. I think I did 4 rides on the roller coaster. I was queasy after the 3rd, and then the lines were so short I jumped on for 4th. And after the fourth, I needed to sit down for a bit. And the food over here is pretty good. One thing I'll mention about the food, we always hear the portion sizes are massive and there's tons of refined sugar. Yeah, sure there is. And then, yeah, my eyes just blew up when I walked into a supermarket called Vons of all things. But there's also good food. There's also really, really good food. I love a good fruit salad, massive fruit salad bowls. And the range of Cliff Bars, what the hell? That is next level. There was frosted gingerbread Cliff Bars. And there's also nut-filled Cliff Bars, or there's also peanut butter-filled nut bars. That's the ones. They were phenomenal. So yeah, it'd be absolutely easy to go into a calorie coma over here. But I try to stick to the good stuff. That's worked pretty well. But yeah, as for the coffee, let's not mention the coffee one bit. What else is happening? Oh, back on the Zwift office as well. I spent quite a few hours in the Zwift office, well, 3 days actually. I'd love to have pulled the camera out and sort of did a few interviews with people and made something of it, but you know, it just didn't feel right. It's their workplace, and I guess I'm not an interviewer and I'm not a videographer. The last thing I want to do is make content that is just not natural, not my thing. I think that's worked a little bit better than what I was originally doing with the daily. I'm just sort of doing what's coming across my desk, and if I try and make that a reporter or an interviewer or make something interesting every single day, it's not going to work. So, yeah, the camera stayed away. I got a few shots of walking through the office, but it's sort of like walking to somebody's home and showing them around. It's not my place to do that. And I wasn't there to do that. So I really can't use that footage, to be honest. It's interesting, but again, I respect their privacy. That might mean that nobody watches this shit or there's not as many hits. It's not as interesting, but it is what it is. And I think I'm sort of more finding my place and doing what I'm doing, talking about trainers and my experience and sharing the stories of that and what I can add value to, because being someone I'm not or doing something I don't do isn't going to provide value to anyone. And at the end of the day, it's not what I want to do anyway. I think it's more along the lines of talking about the trainers, the tech, and how it all gels together and breaking down barriers. If you saw my Bluetooth video the other day, it sort of solved a lot of problems that I had about how Bluetooth connected, what the limitations of that are. And yeah, that's more of the content I'm along the lines of chop her up. So I've caught Uber everywhere. Uber's been fantastic and super cheap compared to cabs. So if you're not on an Uber yet, jump on Uber. But this place is so different. You can probably see behind me if you've been watching the bikes go past. Everyone's just cruising. There's no one racing. This is not the Melbourne Bike Path Olympics. This is just having fun in the sun. And it's about 23, 24 degrees and sunny. Absolutely beautiful. And hardly any helmets, which is sort of a bit bizarre, but hey, that's the law over here. There's no need to wear a helmet. So a few more hours left here. I'll head to the airport, try to get myself into one of these lounges, and 15 hours home. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in Sydney.